British Columbia. And I love cruising. Right now it is 6:30 a.m. where I'm at, and I don't know what I'm going to do, and I don't know what I'm going to talk about while I'm here. Hoping people are going to come in and engage with me and maybe ask me some questions. I've got another monitor up here I'm looking at constantly, and I hope it's not too distracting or unnerving. Anyway, if you have any questions about cruising or any questions about me in general, you can put it up there in the comments, say hi, link your channel, let me know who you are. Anyway, today is November the 12th, 2023, the day after Remembrance Day. I'd like to thank all those veterans who sacrificed their lives to help us make the world it is today. I have many relatives that fought in the wars, and I'm very thankful of what they've done for us. And I'm thankful for everybody who's doing the contribution nowadays. Anyway, as we go in, I've taken about 12 cruises in my life. My first cruise was a little 3-day cruise out of Long Beach just to see how I'd like it. Took my 3 kids with me too at that time, and we did a little 3-day tour of Disneyland afterwards, just in case I didn't like the cruise. I didn't know anything about cruising at that time, and I think I made a poor choice with my first cruise because it ended up being one of those weekend drunk fests off of Long Beach, and it wasn't something I knew about. Now I know a lot more about cruising. It's completely different now for me. I take a look at what I'm trying to get out of the cruise and why I'm on a cruise, and it helps me to decide which cruise line and which itinerary I want the best. Anyway, good morning, everybody. I'm having my coffee here. Yeah, so that cruise, it was fun. I had a good time. We only went down to Ensenada and back to Long Beach. In Ensenada, I had a great day. We did our own things. My ex, she did a spa day. My kids were in the kids club all day at the port, and I did an ATV excursion and a great adventure. Had a great afternoon that day. Everybody had a good time, even the kids. And then we had a great 3 days at Disneyland afterwards. I hope everybody can hear me. If you can't hear me, let me know. Also, I'm new to StreamYard. I'm new to live, so I'm told there's a little delay. So if you make a comment, I might not see it right away. If you've had experience in live streaming, let me know what you know about StreamYard and streaming. Let me just get this up over here. Also, I just want everybody to know I am currently at 966 subscribers. Whoops, look at that. Let's get rid of that. I'm trying to actually make a banner right now. Let me make a new one here while we're right sitting here. I'm at 966 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please do to help me reach 1,000. How does that sound? I want to reach 1,000. Everybody wants to reach 1,000 subscribers when they're new, a new content creator. It's a magical number. At that point, we are eligible for ad revenue. Now, everybody, all the content creators know that there are other points that you can receive revenue as well. And I've reached those other times, but the big one seems to be the 1,000 subscribers. Anyway, as we go throughout the day, I will give you updates. Ooh, look at that. It doesn't like that at all. Anyway, so that cruise, that was a great cruise. I had a good time. After that, I did go on another cruise out of Miami. We did a 1-week cruise out of Miami, and that cruise, to be honest, I don't even remember the ports we went to. I'm going to say it was Cozumel, Grand Cayman, Jamaica, back to Miami. Excuse me, holy moly. And it was, I had a great time on that one too. And as I said before, if you have any questions or comments, say hi in the comments. It'd be great. Everybody likes to hear the comments. Everybody likes to read the comments, have a conversation. I'll try to answer any questions as I can. Anyway, after that, let me just go over here. Like I said, I'm looking at another monitor at the same time. I hope you don't find it's rude. I just bring up some information there once in a while. As I said, I'm at 966 subscribers, trying to grow. I remember I met the woman I'm with now, Mighty Tanis. I met her a couple of years ago, and within 3 months, I invited her on a cruise I was going on, and it was in the Mardi Gras. And she said yes. So we went on that great cruise. 8 months later, we're on another cruise. A year later, we're on another cruise. And she said, "Hey, Stuart, you like, well, good morning, fake Tim Yak." Um, yeah, like I said, we got off that cruise and she goes, "You talk about cruising so much. Why don't you just start blogging about it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so I started just saying stuff on the internet. I didn't know what I was doing. I started before I knew what I was doing, and I did a lot of research. I did too much research at the start, and there was one internet guru who said, "Just smash fear in the face, just click record," and that's what I did. I just grabbed my phone, I started recording stuff, posting it on the internet. I started using iMovie to edit my stuff, threw it up there before I was ready, and it's been a lot of fun. If you have any questions about cruising, just put it down below. Um, that's all I can say for now. Let's see what's going on. Fake Tim. Any questions from Fake Tim Yak this morning? I know there's a delay. I don't know how long it is because I've never done this before and I don't know what's going on. Right now, for cruising going forward, I've got two cruises. Well, I have one cruise. Well, I've got two cruise booked. One in August. We're going on this Celebrity Paradise. Looks like a smaller ship, but I'm going to be going myself, the Mighty Tanis, and I'm taking my three kids as well. We're going to be doing the old Honduras, Belize, Cozumel, uh, that little junket. Everybody takes that one. That one seems to be really popular. I don't know how many times I've been to Cozumel now, but I can tell you every time I go to Cozumel, I have a good time. If you have a place that you like in Cozumel, put it in the comments below. It's greatly appreciated because you never know. I might not have been there. I have been, oh my goodness, I've been riding with the dolphins there. Oh yeah, when it comes to Cozumel, one thing my kids want to do is they want to do the Help the Turtles excursion. They think that would be really cool. Hopefully, when we go, it is active. I'm told it is a seasonal thing. It looks like it is offered in August, and yeah, we're going to try that out. Just a moment here. Hope you got your coffee going this morning, or whatever is going to help you out throughout the morning. Um, I know I started this at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Well, here on the west coast of Canada, that's 6:30, so I'm still working on my coffee to get me throughout the day. Um, and as I said before, help me through with my coffee addiction. Buy me a cup of coffee. Be greatly appreciated as well. So it's amazing. I think what's been happening in cruising in the last couple of years is just amazing. We had that little health situation back in 2020 where cruising almost died off. It's the slowdown, the shutdown happened, and nobody was cruising. And I think cruising has bounced back incredibly. I didn't think people would be back on cruise ships as fast as they are, but they are, and everybody's having a great time. Let me just see one thing here. Look at that. I don't even know my settings here on StreamYard. I'm just winging it. I'm just talking about nothing as I go along. And I hope I don't make a fool of myself. Yeah, so as I was saying, I think the cruise industry has done a great job at welcoming people back. I really like the changes that have been made on the ships since the shutdown. Having these e-muster drills just makes things so much easier. Last January, I was on the Vlogger Extravaganza cruise with Norwegian, and we were on the Norwegian breakaway. And at that time, Norwegian had gone back to in-person muster drills. If you remember those were just this, everybody would just get together and you'd have to wait and wait and wait for everybody to get there. And then there'd be this large crowd of people listening to somebody you couldn't see or hear off in the distance do their little thing. I think it's wonderful now how you can just watch a video, go to your muster station, tap in and leave. Um, Oddly enough, it seems like so many people have trouble just going to their muster station. I have no clue what they're doing. Maybe they're heading straight to the bar, straight to the pool, but who knows what they're doing. Yep. As you enter the channel, just post a little comment, post, "Hi, good morning. My name is," put your name out there. Let me know who you are. Have a comment too, and let me know what's going on in your life. If you have any questions about cruising, put it down below. I've got some content I'm trying to get out. Um, the one thing about being a vlogger that I never realized or never knew about was how long it takes to edit a 3-minute video. You know, you end up with 25 minutes on a certain topic, and you watch it and you look, and I found out I say a lot. I'm trying to get over that because it takes a lot of time to edit out those spots where you look a little silly and you don't know what to say. And I'm just editing all this little stuff out, or when I stammer or repeat myself. It's it's amazing how much time it takes to edit just a 3-minute video on cruising. I was recently did a 3-day Vancouver to Vancouver to San Francisco cruise. We went to Alcatraz when we got to San Francisco, and I'm editing a video right now on Alcatraz. As a vlogger, you always have to watch out for technical difficulties as well. Um, I did a ship tour and I didn't look at the footage on board the ship. I wish I had, because it was one of those situations when I clicked the button to record, but I was clicking it to stop. And so all I recorded was the time I thought the camera was off. So I have all these videos of me walking around from spot to spot, and I've got no actual footage of the ship at all. I was thinking of taking all that stuff together and making some sort of a silly videos to say, hey, this is what you don't do when you're vlogging on a cruise ship. It was a great cruise. You know, every cruise I've been on has been great. There's been little inconveniences here and there, and I don't think I've ever gone to guest services to complain about my towel animal not being there or my room not being turned down when I want it to be turned down. I just go for the flow. I know these guys are busy. I've only once had one cruise where I had no clue who my room attendant was. He seemed to turn down and clean up the room at different times. I missed my room on a couple of days, and I did make the cruise line aware of that. And interestingly enough, I never asked for anything, and they gave me onboard credit for my next cruise. It was great. It was wonderful. It wasn't what I was after. I just wanted to pass along the information. Let me just move this a bit here. That feels a lot more comfortable. Let's see here. Tim. Oh, is this the real or is this the fake Tim? Da, 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 da. You live vicariously through YouTube creators. Hey, I did that for a long time as well. I still do. There's so many creators who just go out so often. I don't live in Florida. It seems like a lot of creators do live in Florida or places close to a year-round cruise port. I live in a municipality beside Vancouver, so the only cruises I really get to see are Alaskan cruises. Even if I go drive down to Seattle, just a couple hours away, it's still only Alaskan cruises for me. I think I see a lot of disabled people on cruises. I don't know the level of your disability, so I apologize. I can't really comment on your situation. Um, but I know the cruise lines do try to help disabled people out as much as they can. Um, but yeah, oh, I just love watching other people's walkthroughs and experiences on the cruise ships. I like to see announcements of, hey, we're going on this cruise. Ilana, she does a great job of talking about the cruises she's on. And of course, Don and Tony and Jay, they always go into great depth. JJ Cruises, it seems like they always do a live stream at the start of their cruise, and they really like to show their ships off and do, show what's going on and their cruise as well. Other Google accounts. Oh, well, thank you very much, Tim. I appreciate that. And your disability is, oh, I understand that. Uh, I get that. I fully understand that as well. Um, yeah, I'm not too sure how I figure out how to cruise so much. I think I probably don't spend my money on a lot of other things. Um, but I believe you should try to do what you can towards the passion in your life and what you love in your life. Life is about experiences. It's not about things. I do like things, though, I have to admit. And the thing that I would like to get right now is a Volkswagen ID4. It's an electric car. That's a personal choice I make. Right now, I've got a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I love that vehicle too. It patrols our RV really well. Just a moment here. Yeah, I was saying recently that we just took our 4-day cruise, 3-day cruise out of Vancouver down to San Francisco. And one thing I noticed is that we were able, the medical devices. Oh my goodness, I feel sorry for you. Um, oh gosh, I'm just gonna share this with everybody here, if you don't mind. So Tim would need medical devices to walk and transport even on a cruise ship. Well, I'm glad that you have found a way to live vicariously through other people's lives. Um, I don't know if you would like to be on a cruise. I don't know what the cost it would be as well. Oh my goodness, I feel very sorry for you. Um, I hope you do have some pleasures in your life that you can grab a hold of, and I'm glad there's people on YouTube that you can sit down to and enjoy their content. Um, I I was talking about how do I afford to go on so many cruises. Well, I don't go on as many as everybody else. I typically do two, maybe three a year, and I'm always looking for the best deal. This cruise that went from Vancouver to Seattle, it was really cheap. That's all I can say. It was so cheap that it made upgrading to the Plus package on Princess worthwhile. And then the flight home was ridiculously cheap as well. Oh my goodness. We have a 55-inch window on the world on YouTube. Well, I hope you can find what you like on the world. If you have other I'm sure you have other interests other than cruising as well, and I hope you enjoy those. Um, and I hope you have a passion on some of those. And the interesting thing is, if you have a passion on something like that, you could be a creator on what it's like to be disabled and how you live vicariously through others. You never know what people are going to enjoy on the internet or what they're going to enjoy. Uh, People all the time are taking a look at how their life is similar to so many other people out there, and they don't realize it. And that's why they start streaming as well. Excuse me here. Itchy nose. Um, Yeah, so a lot of other cruises, I find group cruises sometimes I can get cheap prices. One of my cruises I went on a few years ago, I bought cruise next certificates from Norwegian Cruise Lines, and it was an investment at the time, but it is a way for me to make that initial down payment on the cruise. It sort of makes it easier. Good morning, Warm Strong. Hey, it's great to have you here this morning. I love watching your videos. I just want to tell you that in person, or I feel like it's in person. Um, I feel like when you put out your videos and you have your live streams, you really connect with people. And having you here come and say good morning on my live stream, it means a lot to me. Thank you very much for showing up. I know people out there in the creator community, they have seen my face or seen my name, I guess you could say, seen the Ship to Shore cruise in the chat. And this is sort of an opportunity to say, hey, oh, hey, I know who that guy is. I know what he looks like. My name's Stuart. Yeah, I really enjoy being part of the creator community. I wish I could participate more in some of these live streams, but I'm 3 hours off of everybody who's on the East Coast. I'm here in British Columbia, Canada. So sometimes it's difficult. And usually when I join the live streams, I'm saying, hey, I'm still at work, because I am. I see people go on live stream and it's 6 p.m. where they are, but I'm still at work because it's only 3 for me. Yeah. So I was talking about how do I afford to go on my cruises, and it just takes a lot of planning for me, a lot of savings, and looking for those last minute deals in some cases. Because I'm on the West Coast, last minute deals seem to be a lot of out of Los Angeles, Long Beach type of cruises. Long term ones, those are big ventures that I take with my family, with my kids. Or those might be the Caribbean cruises or Caribbean cruises. Those are ones I got to plan out a lot longer, because right now the flight for me to get from the west coast of Canada to Florida, that most of the time that's more than the cruise. We're taking a cruise on the Carnival Celebration, sorry, the Carnival Paradise in August of next year. I haven't booked the flight yet, but already the flight for the 5 of us looks like it's more than the cruise. And so I'm waiting till Black Friday. I'm hoping I'm going to see some flight deals. The best flight deal I ever had was a couple of years ago. I booked a 4-day out of Long Beach down to Ensenada, down to Catalina. Did that little thing on Princess on Carnival. And so I booked the cruise. It was a really cheap last minute cruise. And then WestJet Airlines, WestJet Airlines all of a sudden sent me this email saying, hey, we're having a 1-day sale. And oddly enough, sitting up in premium economy at the front of the plane there was cheaper than regular. So I jumped on board and I grabbed that 2 seats for premium seating. And it was the first time I ever sat at the front of the plane, and it was an amazing experience. It's sort of something I want to do all the time. And it was great to sit down and someone comes and they take your food order and then they ask you for drinks. We actually got a drink. We both got mimosas before we left the ground. Had a drink in our hands before we even lifted off. It was a wonderful experience. Yeah, Warmstrong, airfare is an expense, and it seems to be getting more expensive all the time. I don't know why. I'm going to guess it's because of the fuel costs as well. Let's see, Tim, he's in Michigan, and driving down to Fort Lauderdale or Miami. Yeah, that's a big portion of your budget there. How many days would it take to drive from Michigan down to Miami? I know when I do Google Maps. Oh, Armstrong, you're in Michigan too. You know what? I did not know that. I just thought you were down in Florida as well. Um, yeah. So how long would it take to drive? Would it be a full day drive? Would you guys take 2 days to drive down there, or is it just easier to fly? Down in the United States, you guys got a few low cost airlines that we don't have access to. They don't fly to Canada. If I want a low cost airline, um, if I want a low cost airline, I need to drive down to Seattle, Washington. I can also drive down to Bellingham, Washington, and there I can get on an Allegiant airline. I can fly from Allegiant from Bellingham to Los Angeles, or I can fly down to Las Vegas as well. Those are pretty common, cheap ones. And Southwest Airlines has recently started flying out of Bellingham as well. But it seems like they've got really weird connecting flights. So it shows here, Tim, 18 hours to Kissimmee, but that's crazy. 2 days is correct. 18-hour driving in a day. I've never done that. I've done 10 hours. I used to live in the interior of British Columbia here, over 1,000 kilometers away. I don't know how many miles that is. I'm sorry. It's like 680 kilometers, something silly like that, or 680 miles, something like that. And it's usually a 10-hour drag day because you got mountain passes you're going through as well. And you do want to stop and have something to eat halfway along the way. But I know you get anything up over 8-hour driving, and it's a tough, long day. When I fly to Miami or Orlando to take a cruise out of Fort Lauderdale, that's a long day too, because typically it's about a 4-hour flight from Vancouver to it's interesting, it's either from Vancouver to Toronto, or it's Vancouver to Dallas, or it's Vancouver to Houston before they make the connecting flight to Miami or Orlando. And it all depends on what airline you're going through and what hub you're going through as well. Let's see here. Used to be a physical and mental challenge, so 21 hours to Spring Hill, Florida is good also. Wow, on a motorbike. On a bike. Okay, so if you haven't ridden a bike, you don't know what it's like to drive long distances. I had a bike. The longest ride I've ever done on my bike on highway driving was 3 hours, and that wasn't freeway driving. That was highway, 2 lane, 1 lane this way, 1 lane that way, going against each other. And that wasn't a separated freeway like some sort of interstate highway. And I tell you, you do get tired a lot faster riding a bike than you driving a car. So, Tim, yeah, if you've done that on a bike, good on you. It takes a lot. Thumbs up. You deserve a pat in the back for that. The 1,000 miles in 24. What is the 1,000 miles in 24? I'm going to take a wild guess. You've done 1,000 miles in 24 hours? Is that really? Seriously? Just confirm that. 1,000 miles in 24 hours. Is that what? I'm going to Google that. Really? Honestly? That's amazing. Let's see. That if you've done that, wow. I don't know. That's not telling me. I'm not going to spend time. I'm not here to sit here and Google stuff on another screen and not talk to you. Back in one day. Wow. If you can do that. And then there's people who do that Cannonball Run. I remember seeing that movie way back when I was a kid, the Cannonball Run. And I'm finding out today people are still doing that. They're designing these supercars that are going from New York to Los Angeles in some ridiculous amount of time. You get a special leather patch for doing this run. You better get a special patch for doing that run. That's a great achievement to ride that far, period. And if you're doing that in 24 hours, it can't be 24 days. No, less than 24 days. It's got to be 24 hours. Yeah. So getting back to cruising, you have to document all your gasoline and mileage at the receipts of the gas. Wow. Tim, have you ever thought of doing a vlog about motorcycles? I know you have a disability that makes it difficult for you to ride nowadays and to do things. But you should take a look at what you have done and the challenges, and that might be a great vlogging idea. You never know what people are going to do or say, and how you can connect with people. on the passions of your life. And it looks like you've got a passion in cruising by living vicariously through other people. Um, da, da, da. You bought an electric trike this summer. Ooh, that's cool. That is very cool to have an electric trike. Congratulations. That must be just so liberating to have something like that where you can be mobile and get out there and experience things as well. Let's see. We've been here for a half an hour. Welcome everybody to the live stream again. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Look at that. If I tilt my head, you can see my light ring. Look at that. It looks like it's my eyeball. Yeah, I'm silly. I'm a little goofy. I'm a little weird as well. Yeah, right now, I love, like I keep saying, I love 13 miles an hour for 20 miles. Wow, good. That sounds like a really nice little trike. That gets you around to where you're going for sure. I think for a lot of people, if you're just doing little short trips, getting any sort of electronic or electrical vehicle to get you to where you're going and back is a great alternative to having a car. I think gas cars, though, you're going to need, they're better off currently with the current technology. I think gas is probably better for long distances. But things are changing. I think in the last few years, electric car manufacturers have made a huge leap in the technology and how far vehicles can go. And it's only going to get farther. You know, the distances they can travel between charges are even going to get farther than what they are now, or they've got to come up with some way to charge these things better and faster on the road. There are places in Europe that have created inductive charging in the highway as well, and they're testing that. Yeah, those are great alternatives to driving gasoline cars for short excursions or day tripping. The Mighty Tana's here. She's got a Leaf. She commutes. It's the perfect commuter car. That's all I got to say. Gets her to work, gets her home every day. That's all she needs it for. We can also do little junkets around town as well. Tim here is saying if he had an option, he'd get a hybrid right now. Our tenant downstairs has a hybrid. To tell you the truth, I came really close recently to buying a plug-in hybrid just because of the mileage you're getting. One consideration I have to take into account when I'm looking at a vehicle, though, is that we've got a 17-foot RV. It's not very big. It's not very heavy. But there's not too many EVs that I can afford that will be able to tow that thing. No, excuse me. I do see people in Teslas towing vehicles that big, but I can't afford those Teslas. Those are expensive, and I don't know if they really should be towing something that big. And I don't know what's going on with the Ford Lightning, the F-150 Lightning. But I'm hearing a lot of people aren't too happy with it because when they hook up their RV to that, they can't really go very far. Yeah, so I was talking about flying down. One tip I always tell people when you're flying is always go back to the website that you booked your flight with. Always check with them to see if there's any special deals or there been any changes in the last minute. I was flying when I did my vlog, when I was part of the vlogger Extravaganza almost a year ago now. I kept looking at the flights, and I flew down on American Airline and I flew back to United Airline, and I did that because those are the cheapest flights. And a couple of days before we were going on our cruise, I was double checking the flight information like I oddly do. And on the United Airlines flight, there was a dark blue bar with dark blue lettering. So it was not quite as dark on the bottom, and it says upgrade option available. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, okay, what is this? I clicked, and for $100 per person, we were able to upgrade from economy to premium seating for our return flight. And I thought, $100 per person to go from the back of the bus to the front of the bus, so to speak. Yeah, it was a no-brainer. $200. Yeah. So we jumped up, and that was another great experience. I am always looking for how I can upgrade to the front of the plane for the cheapest I can. If you haven't done it, you need to try to treat yourself once just to experience it. And it might be one of those situations of going from an ocean view cabin on a cruise to a balcony cabin. Once you get a taste of that sweet life, you might be hooked. It might be an addiction that you're just going to need to feed every time you try to book a flight. Um, I was saying as well earlier about flying in the United States. You guys have so many cheap flight options. Now, I don't know the reliability of some of those airlines. I hear people say, "Oh, I hate Southwest because they're always late," and then I hear other people say, "Hey, Southwest has never treated me wrong." And I think it's just going to come down to your own personal experiences. I've been delayed on big brands. The biggest delay I ever had was with an American airline, and when I say that, I know people already are rolling their eyes when they go, "Oh, American Airlines, what do you expect?" Um, but they were having mechanical problems. The plane had some problems. I've also had problems with Allegiant Airlines. You know, we there was a starter, and they even though they had a repair facility where we were in Las Vegas, they had to fly in the part from another cities, and that was the worst service experience I've ever had. Um, I have had one other experience that is very close that was horrible when it came to customer service, because in Canada we used to have an airline called Swoop Airlines. It's now part of WestJet, and if you wanted to call customer service, it was $25. You had to pay just to call customer service, and it was long distance, and it was not a toll-free number. So they made it very difficult. If you wanted to call customer service, they made it very difficult. And so you'd phone and they'd put you on hold. And people I talked to said it wasn't uncommon to be on hold for an hour. So you're paying those long distance fees for being on hold. And from what my friends went through, I just decided not to fly with those guys. It just wasn't worth it to me. I flew on one of our low cost airlines, Flair Airlines, from San Francisco to Vancouver, and I have to say it is a low cost for a reason. We didn't have USB ports to charge our electronics. There were no TVs in the back of anybody's seats. There was no premium seating, no business seating up front. There were no free drinks, no free snacks, nothing free at all. You were very limited on what you could bring on board. If you bought the cheapest fare, you had to pay for your carry-on luggage, and nothing was free. I paid a package price, so I had a carry-on, a personal item, and a checked luggage as well. And when I went to check in my luggage, it was just a backpack. It wasn't a huge suitcase or anything. And the person at the check-in looked at me and they said, "No, that's carry-on, that's not checked luggage." And I said, "Hey, it's checked luggage. I don't want to be carrying this thing anymore." And they gave me a funny look, like, "Are you sure you want to check this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is checked luggage. I just don't want to carry this 40-pound backpack anymore." Um, we took that 3-day cruise with carry-on only, and it's not the first cruise I've done with carry-on. The first cruise I did with the Mighty Tanis on the Mardi Gras for a week, we took a carry-on and a personal bag. Why did we do that? I I don't know. To this day, I have no clue why we decided to do carry-on. And it was a Halloween cruise. So we had Halloween. Um, yeah, we had our Halloween costumes in that bag. Tim was asking if we had to pedal when we got into the seats. No, I paid for the seats up front, a little bit extra, so I didn't have to pedal. I just had to row when I was on my last cruise because I was down on the bottom floor. Um, Margarita cruises. I have heard about margarita cruises. Somebody put it up online and let you know if it's okay to tell you the name. Yeah, I share it if you feel comfortable sharing their name, do it. I've never taken a Margaritaville cruise. If I'm going to take a cruise out of Miami, I'm not going to be flying down there for a 2 or 3 day cruise. Unfortunately, the cost of flying there is just prohibitive. It's just ridiculous. But I have heard about Margarita cruises, and I've heard that they've recently bought another cruise ship, a larger ship. And from my understanding, that one ship will double the capacity of their 2 other ships that they already have in service. So they're gonna have that 3rd bigger ship. So I'm wondering if they're gonna start offering longer cruises other than their just weekend cruise, their booze cruise, I guess you could call it their party cruise. That's what I'm gonna call it. And that's unfair because I really haven't done my due diligence when researching that cruise line. It does sound like a fun cruise. Um, Recently, there was a big transportation exposition down in Orlando. Uh, I fought hard to go to it because I work in corporate safety with our transportation authority here, and I fought hard to go because I felt we should be there because of the information. It's an annual event that's held at different places across the United States every year. And my plan was to be able to go to this show if I was approved, and then take a little 2 day, a quick little margarita cruise, or maybe a little Virgin Voyages cruise afterwards. If I was going to be able to get my employer to cost share me getting there, then I might just extend it a few days and pay those few days to extra to have a little bit of extra fun while I was down there. Unfortunately, they said no, and my manager ended up going instead. I thought that was kind of funny. Then later after a while, I found out that he had booked that trip earlier. Now Tim is saying that there's a Minnesota guy. He lives in Germany, called the Very Unofficial Travel Guy with Morgan O'Brien. I think I think I'm subscribed to that person. Let me just bring it up here on my other screen, and let's go over to YouTube. Let me check it out over here on my other monitor. Yes, I've got that. And we are looking for Very Unofficial Travel Guide. Very Unofficial Travel Guide. I do not see it. I'm going to do a search right now. Official Travel Guide. Oh, look at that. Very Unofficial Travel Guides. Well, look at that. I Wow. Let's see here. That looks wonderful. I'm going to subscribe that, and I'm going to watch a video a little later. The interesting things about subscribing to people on YouTube is that if you don't watch a video within 24 hours, your subscription gets knocked off. You are no longer subscribed to them, and they lose that subscription. So if you're ever subscribing to somebody, make sure you watch one of their videos as well. It does help them as a content creator in their subscriber numbers. I think it's great there's somebody here today. Thank you, Tim, for logging in and saying hi. It makes me feel good. As I said, I've never done this before. I don't know what to expect. I'm just rambling on, talking about cruising and stuff. When I go cruising, I think about all the different excursions I've taken. And I have to say that my favorite excursion of all time was in the Grand Caymans, and we did the swimming with the stingrays. I thought it was amazing that here we are. We had to ride for like 40 minutes in this catamaran boat out into the middle of nowhere where there's a sandbar. Grand Cayman, the island we were at, was just an horizon, and these stingrays are completely wild. They just like to congregate there. Now, I'm pretty sure that they're accustomed to getting food, so they keep coming back. But you get there, And before you get out of the water, you go through an orientation. They talk to you about how to be safe around these creatures, and and how to enter the water and how to walk through the water. And you get in the water, beautifully nice warm water out in the ocean, and these creatures are just swimming all around you. They're bumping into your legs, and they don't care. An attendant there will pick one up, and you get to pet it, feel what it's like. You can kiss it for good luck. You can get them on your back, and they'll give you a little massage. And I just thought it was the best experience ever. Tim, you walked the turtle place, which is across from the dolphin place, but we would just watch the dolphins. We didn't swim with them. Is that over in the Bahamas? I'm just asking, is this over in the Bahamas? Or where did this happen? I did swim with the dolphins once. I did that in Cozumel. My first time to Cozumel, I did swim with the dolphins. You've hunted manatees. Wow. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Yeah, I swam with the dolphins. That was ridiculous. Those things are they're just muscle. That's it. You're out there, they're very playful, they're very intelligent. I had a funny situation. It was embarrassing, but I thought it was hilarious. I grabbed onto the dolphin, you grab onto their fin, and they take off and they pull you across the pool. He took off, and my swimming trunks immediately were down near my ankle. The water just caught them and whoosh, just down near my ankles. I almost lost my swimming trunks in the water. I was laughing. It was so funny, but that was a really nice experience as well. I don't think I've had a bad experience on an excursion. They've all been good. Yeah. When I did a ATV excursion out of in Ensenada, it was beautiful countryside. We were up in, I guess it was wine country or something. It was beautiful. We were going in orchards most of the time. But the bus we went in was the sketchiest thing I've ever seen. It was this old beat up school bus, and there's no glass in the windows, but there were these bars, and it was like rebar welded onto over the windows. So people couldn't climb through the windows, and it was so uncomfortable. I was starting to wonder where we were going and what we were doing. And when we finally got to where the excursion was, it was great. But that bus was sketchy. My kids, so far, their favorite excursion was ziplining in Honduras. The ziplining, we did it through the cruise line, and it was a lot longer than I had hoped for. We had a great time. My youngest one, he's not the bravest kid in the world, but he had so much fun. He was the first one down that first zip line, and he was hooping and hollering the whole time. He just had a great time. I was talking about the Mardi Gras cruise I was on with the Mighty Tanis, Halloween cruise in Roatan. We did a see-through ocean canoe with snorkeling, and I forget the name of the park. I want to call it Gumbalaya, but they had the birds, and they had the macaws and the monkeys there. We went out in the ocean, and it was stormy. The swells in the water when we were snorkeling over top of the coral was so bad that the Mighty Tanis got scratched by the coral. We got out of the water, and the attendants there was spraying. What were they spraying? They were cleaning her wounds, and her wounds were just fizzing as it got the poison and everything out of the wounds. She had a scar for probably 6 months. So don't get scratched by coral. It's not good for you. It'll cause some pretty bad infections. Hydrogen peroxide. That's what they were pouring right on the wound. And it was fizzing. It was amazing. It was crazy. The glass bottom canoe that we had, well, it wasn't a canoe. It was more of a rowboat. And it wasn't glass. It was old plexiglass that you could barely see through. And the water was so rough that other people in our excursion, they were getting water in their boat and they were sinking. Uh, we didn't have a problem. We didn't get any water in ours at all. Uh, we're quite adventurous. We get out, we do a lot of activities, and we had a great time on that day. Some people were complaining about the weather. We took it all in stride. We were just laughing the whole time and having a good time. And we got back to shore. They helped us clean up. They had a nice hot coffee for us if we wanted, because it was cold even for Honduras in October. And then we went over and saw the macaws and the monkeys as well. We ended up having a really good day that day. Just a moment here. I need more coffee. I'll get some after this is over. Yeah, if you have any more questions about cruising, put it there. I'm looking forward in time. I'm thinking about creating a group cruise for the spring of 2025. Part of me also wants to do one for the fall of 2024. I don't know if it's too late to create something for 2024 or not. It might be. I'm trying to listen to what other creators are doing, the people who do a lot of these group cruises. I'm listening to them to see about how far out they're planning their group cruises. I did a little poll on my channel where people would like to go. It seems like nobody cares. They just would like to go on cruising. People who have the choice so far are saying Alaska. And for me, doing a group cruise to Alaska is a no-brainer. Oh, excuse me. Holy cow, that coffee went down wrong. It's just that if I do Alaska, it's right here. And it might be easier for me to prepare and everything if I do that. Hey, Warmstrong, welcome back. Glad you could jump back in. Always nice to see your name in any live stream as well. Yeah. Excuse me. Holy moly. Other places I've thought about doing group cruises out of is Los Angeles. And, if I'm doing a group cruise for the first time or second time, I think it might be important to try to do it out of a port that's closer to me than trying to go all the way over to Florida. Maybe if I do it once or twice and I find it is successful and I'm comfortable with doing it, then I'd probably start doing it out of, say, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, maybe Tampa, something like that. I might get more people going out of ports going to the Caribbean than I would to, say, the Mexican Riviera, west coast of Mexico, or maybe some sort of interesting wine cruise up the west coast of California. Those seem to be quite interesting as well. Moving on, Warmstrong, I can't remember. I don't think you are planning any group cruises. I know you just got back from one, the booze cruise. I can't remember if you said if you're booked into more or not, but I know you know a lot of people who are taking them, like Clock Family Adventures. Excuse me. It's early for me here in the west coast of Canada, so I had to get up early to do this for me, but I'm glad I'm doing it as well. I am taking a look at some other people who are doing group cruises in the spring of 2024, and I'm going to be joining those. I am thinking about joining another booze cruise next year. One problem I have where I work is I'm not allowed to take holidays in the last 2 weeks of October. We have special auditing at work, and so it's a blackout period for anything. I tried to get the first Monday off because I was going to be coming into San Francisco the night before, and I wasn't able to get that off. Now, Armstrong, he's planning on doing a 14-day group cruise February 9th, 2025 to Hawaii out of Long Beach. Ooh, that would be amazing. Yeah, that sounds like a great cruise. I'm going to take a guess and say it's probably 4 or 5 sea days there, probably followed by 4 or 5 days in Hawaii, and then 4 or 5 sea days back to Long Beach. The only reason I'm saying that is because I know Princess does one out of Vancouver, BC, Canada to Hawaii, and that one's a 15-day cruise. I know all about that because 5 or 6 years ago, I did work part-time as a travel agent. And I was able to book that for somebody I know, and they love ocean days. They love sea days on cruises. They love to sit there. Oh my goodness, look at that. A cruise to Hawaii that stops in Ensenada as well. Huh. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. I'm really interested to see about that. I thought it would just be straight there, straight back, but it sounds intriguing. That sounds you keep us up to date on that. You post some information, create a video about that. Oh, I'm sure you probably do. You probably created something. I should just look back through your videos. Um, but as you come up with more plans, share it. I'd love to hear about it. Might be something interesting to do in February. Well, where I work, I'm lucky enough to get 5 weeks of holidays a year. And when I choose my holidays, I have to take at least 1 2 week block. I can't just take 5 individual weeks throughout the year. There's one point where I have to take 2 weeks, which is good, which is sort of a hassle too. Um, right now, I'm trying to book my holidays around my cruise plans for next year. And unfortunately, when I book my holidays, I need to book them. I think it's in the first week of December. So in a couple of weeks, I've got to choose my holidays for the next coming year. And there's only 5 of us in my department, and there can only be 2 of us off at one time. So I have to work with the other people I work with to make sure that we're not tripling up on what we want on our holidays. And this will allow me the most flexibility on any last minute cruises. Um, as I was saying, I was taking a look at what's happening in the spring. I want to do Alaska next year. I have something booked for July on the Bliss out of Seattle. Now, Don Terrace has a group cruise in April going to Alaska. And so that's kind of interesting. I like going on group cruises. It's just nice to be able to see other people or meet other people who are on the same cruise that you're in a group with. You always have someone to talk to, someone to chat with, someone to hang out with. My first group cruise, I will admit, was a singles cruise. I took through singlescruise.com, and it was everything I hoped it would be. It was not a hookup cruise, so to speak. It was what you made of it. And it was just a group of about 100 people who didn't care who you were on shore. It's just who you were on the ship. And it was what you made of it. And I was able to find people I could hang out with and just have a coffee with. I was able to find people to just go and get have too many drinks and get a little crazy with as well. I had a great time on excursions with people, and I've made lifelong friends through group cruises. And now that I'm getting more involved in the cruise vlogger community, I'm seeing that so many vloggers are really good friends in real life, and they really savor the times they get to sit down on a group cruise together and just hang out and have a good time with each other. And everybody hopefully is what they seem to be on camera. This is me. I've been talking for the last hour. I have no clue how I was able to talk about how I was able to do this for the last hour, but I've been able to talk about nothing. I have to thank Tim. Tim's had some great comments and questions. Um, I was able to talk about some weird excursions I took as well. Warmstrong, I apologize. I don't remember your first name. I don't know your first name. I want to call you Ed for some reason. Ben and David also did the Margarita Cruise on YouTube. Yes, they did. I subscribe to them. I watch their content as well. There was also some cruisers. I haven't seen them for a while. I know their content changed. They call themselves the Calazars. I really liked some of their content. It was kind of fun the way they brought it out. It was interesting to see them complain about everything. But they did it in a positive manner. Bill, hi, Bill. Very nice to meet you. My name's Stuart. You've probably seen my name. I hope you've seen my name a few times. And yeah, I'm Stuart. And I'm just a guy who loves cruising. It's great. It's my passion. Like I said before, the mighty Tanis, my partner, it's all her fault that I started making cruise vlogging. She just got sick of me talking about cruises and what's happening and the latest and greatest news. And hey, did you hear this? Hey, did you hear that? And I think she just got sick of me telling her all the time. She's just like, just why don't you do a YouTube vlog? I'm like, okay. And so here I am exposing myself to the YouTube universe. Good morning, June and Brady. How are you today? It's good to see you. Welcome to the show. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you here this morning. Glad you could join. And we're talking about cruising. Whoops, what did I do there? I said it too many times probably. This is my first time, so I keep clicking things and I'm like, oh goodness, what happened there? I have no idea what's going on. June and Brady. Well, you know what? Let me take a look at something here. I've got another screen over here right now. I shouldn't be looking at it at all, but every once in a while I need to look at it because I want to see if I'm subscribed to the people who are joining in. Yes, I am subscribed to Bill's channel. Let's see. Journeys with June and Brady. Let's see. Journeys with June and Brady. Well, look at that there. It looks like you've got a very nice, let's see, you've got a couple of videos you guys have started. Looks like you're quite recent. I'm going to click that subscribe button right now. There we go. And I'm going to take a look. I'm going to watch one of your videos later today. Because when you subscribe to somebody, you need to watch a video within 24 hours or that subscription drops. So I'm going to leave that up on my other screen. And as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to make sure I watch at least one of your videos. You've got a couple of videos there. Street legal NASCAR race car. Ooh, that looks pretty cool. Carnival Venezia Cabin 8337 room tour. That looks interesting. I wanted to see, I haven't seen too much information on those ships, but it looks great. Hey, thank you very much for that sub. Helps me get closer to my goal of 1,000 people, 1,000 subscribers. You know, that's the magic number for all vloggers, right? So helping each other out, helping out each small creator out is what we should be doing. Every small creator I see in chat rooms and so on, I try to subscribe and watch their content when I can. You know, that's one thing that I really enjoyed about that vlogger Extravaganza cruise last year is that they put out a list of all the small creators who were there, and they really encouraged that we support each other. And I subscribed to everybody I could at that time. I wish I was able to subscribe to more people, but I just need to be exposed to them, and I try to as much as possible. Excuse me, I got an itch out of nowhere. How's my doggy doing? Oh, she's okay. Excellent. So June and Brady, do you guys have any cruises planned coming up? Any adventures at all coming up? Not only do I cruise, we do have an RV and we like to go camping. This summer, though, our camping dreams, our plans are all dashed. We had a 2-bathroom reno that went sideways. It was supposed to be done in about 3 weeks, and it took about 5 months to get completed. Problems with contractors. Contractors not phoning, not showing up. One contractor who did a horrible job, and then we had to pay another contractor to start all over. You did your balcony tour 4 times. Oh my goodness. Before you could do it. Holy cow. I was recently on the Carnival. I was recently on the Princess the Crown Princess, and on Princess they've got these big displays, the big interactive displays, and I was trying to do a video about what it looks like and how it works. And so I arrive and I look up and down the hallways and there's nobody, and I thought, hey, I'm gonna have plenty of time to do this. As soon as somebody hits the record button, people just show up. They start coming up and down the stairs, they're coming out of the elevators, they're coming down the hallways. So you'd pause, you'd wait, you'd check, no one's coming, you hit record, and people start coming out of nowhere. And it's kind of funny as a creator that you want to create something sometimes, and just when you think the moment is right to capture the experience, all of a sudden there's 100 people out of nowhere. And making those videos can be time consuming, and they look like they're very experimental videos. It's like people watch it and go, what was this person doing? If I've got a video that I think is going sideways, I'm going to try to somehow make it a fun experience for people. And then, as everybody knows, you got to go and get into that editing studio, that software, and you're like, oh gosh, what do I keep? There's just so many things where you're stuttering, umming and ahhing, all the mistakes you've made while you're talking about it as well. Where are we? It is currently, right now where I am, it is 7:36 a.m. Out in Florida. It's 10:36 a.m. If you're out there, the sun's up. It's probably a nice warm day. If you're in Michigan, November, Michigan, I'm going to say it's probably a little chilly out there today, depending on where you are. Even though I'm in Canada, I'm in the west coast of Canada, I have to say it's pretty mild out here. We see very little snow. Everybody thinks Canadians get a lot of snow. Not on the west coast. Out here in what we call the lower mainland, down near Vancouver, the whole geographical area, it's very mild. We will rarely see freezing out here. We rarely see snow. In January, if it's a nice sunny day, you can go skiing on a local mountain in the morning, and in the afternoon, you literally can be playing beach volleyball all in the same day. It happens. People look at you sideways when you say something like that. But if you've never been here, you just don't know how good the climate is here. A lot of times people call Vancouver the California of Canada, just because of how temperate our climate is. Anchorage had record snow this last 25 inches. Okay. So I lived up 55 miles south of the Northwest Territories border. And look at that, 6 degrees Celsius and sunny. Well, guess what? It's colder there than it is here on the west coast of Canada. It's about 8 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to say that's like maybe 50 Fahrenheit. I don't know. Hey, good morning to the Beehole Patrol. How are you doing today, you guys? Thanks for dropping in. I'm going to check out your website, check out your channel here. Hey, if you guys have a link on how to drop your channel, sunny and 55 in North Carolina. Ooh, that sounds nice. Sounds like where I want to be. Actually, it sounds like it's about the same temperature. We just had a ridiculous windstorm come through here. Not last night, the night before, Friday night. And there's still power outages, people without power around here. It's just ridiculous as well. Let's see, journeys with, oh, what am I talking about? I'm looking for the Beehole. I don't know about that. Should I be looking at that? Sounds a little suspicious. Beehole Patrol. Let's check it out here. The Beehole. Hello, Beehole. More about this channel. Da, 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 da. Well, look at that. I'm going to hit your subscribe button here today. Good morning. It says it is not monetized at the moment. Well, no kidding. You have 154 subscribers. You got 25 videos. I'm going to check one out later today. It's 41 here in Detroit, Michigan. I'm going to check out as many videos as I can for the people who are here today. Add to your hours, add to your subscriber numbers, and as I said before, we really need to help support each other in this niche as well. Talking about cruising again, like I was saying earlier, I want to do an Alaskan cruise. I've been cruising for over 10 years now. I don't have as many as everybody else. I've never taken an Alaskan cruise. The port's right here. I can take public transportation from my house. It would take 40 minutes to walk outside of my house, get on a bus, get on the SkyTrain, which is our rapid transit system, and go right down to the port and get on there. I just haven't done it. I've just always been going to the Caribbean. But next year, Alaska, here I come. I can go to all those places by water. Skagway is the only place I've been to on any of these cruise ports. And that's because as a young child, we drove up the Alaska Highway and we actually took a ride over to Skagway on a train. It was amazing as well. Good morning, Z. How are you this morning, sir? It's good to see you in the room here today. Yeah, like I said, it's great to see you. I subscribed to you for the longest time. I watch as much content. I try to drop into your morning show whenever I can, but I just have to say I'm at work, and so I just have to try to sneak it on one of my monitors at work and listen as I'm typing away doing my regular job. But I do try to get into your morning shows. Behold, I want to move to Iceland. I love cold, gloomy weather. Well, I don't know. I've known people who go to Iceland. They say it's beautiful. I'm sure they do have cold, gloomy weather. I mean, here in Vancouver in the Lower Mainland, typically October, November hits, and it's just gray, and it'll be gray until March. We'll get a week in March where it's going to be ridiculously sunny, and everybody goes, "Hey, it's summertime." And yeah, no, I know we don't really get better weather till after March. April, it starts to get nice. What's everybody's favorite cruise line? What is your favorite go-to cruise line? I haven't cruised on all the cruise lines so far. I don't know. I was recently on that Princess cruise, and the experience for a weekend getaway was just ridiculous. It was so nice. The medallion experience um, it's a game changer. I think everybody should be adopting some sort of medallion experience. To have this little tiny thing that your room unlocks when you're like 30 feet away. You can get your drink delivered to you wherever you are. You can be sitting beside the pool, put your drink order in, and they bring it to you. That's amazing, but you got to wait for it. That's the only problem. Sometimes you got to wait for it. The first day we were on the cruise, we ordered some wine to be delivered to us, and it's the first day of the cruise. Things are a little busy, little things are hectic. We got that up and we walked away. And so I bet they ended up coming around with the drink looking for us later. We never got charged for it, thankfully. June and Brady, they say their favorite cruise line is Carnival. Carnival is a lot of fun, I have to admit. Now, for me, it's unfair to say which cruise line is my favorite because you go on different cruises for different reasons as well. You know, this when I went on Princess, I just wanted a weekend, a long weekend to sit around and do nothing. And Princess was like that. If I'm looking for more of a party atmosphere, to have a good time with my friends, I'm going to go on Carnival because they seem to cater towards that. I've also taken my kids on Carnival, and my next cruise with my kids is on Carnival as well. Norwegian seems to be more of a step up, I found. That from Carnival, it's a little bit more expensive as well, but I've had great experiences with them as well. Z, what's your favorite cruise line? Also, Bill, yeah. What's your favorite cruise line as well? You guys let us know. And I think it's important to find out what cruise lines you guys like as well. I know the Booze Cruise was on a Carnival ship recently, and it looks like it was a great success. I gotta say, you guys did a great job planning that. And I hope when I plan a group cruise that I can do a good job. I can see Bill just recently said he thought it was one of the best planned and executed group cruise he's seen in a long time. And someone else was saying that they think all group cruises should be that well planned. I wish I'd been there. Unfortunately, I can't take cruises late October. I got to take for other experiences as well. And it's amazing when I see group cruise videos afterwards and hear people talking about them. I get a bit of FOMO, a fear of missing out. I feel like I missed out on a good time. I did, obviously, I did. But hopefully, moving forward, I can join a few more of those ones as well. Let's see what's going on. Z says, good morning. Hey, does anybody here planning their own live stream coming up in the next day or two? In the United States, is Monday a holiday? Because in Canada, we had our Remembrance Day yesterday. I believe it's Veterans Day in the United States. Do you guys get a day off, a statutory holiday? I don't have to work on Monday. Monday is a stat for me. Paid off, day off with pay. Do you have that in the United States tomorrow? Tomorrow's Monday. What am I thinking? It's a little tired here today. Any information on that? Yeah, it's interesting. In my community tab, I made a mention that I was thinking of planning a group cruise. And the next day, my personal travel agent phoned. And she's like, Stuart, I hope you come through me to do the group cruise. And yes, I'm going to be going through her. Friday. So Friday was the holiday. You guys got Friday off. Okay. Good. I'm glad you guys got a day off to, to recognize the contributions that our veterans did to make the world it is what it is today, a nice, safer, freer place for all of us here. Like I said, I have a grandfather who actually was in the Canadian Navy during World War II. He participated in D-Day in the Canadian Navy. He also was one of the ships who participated in the sinking of the Bismarck. And he had some funny stories to tell about that. It was interesting. It wasn't this big naval battle. He said it was more of this chase across the ocean. And his ship, it was a smaller ship, but they could see the Bismarck most of the time as this little speck off on the horizon. And even then, he said they felt like they were too close just because of the power of the guns. Yeah, excuse me. So Bill and Z, do you guys ever feel like you get to a point where you don't know what to say next? I guess that's the problem with doing a live stream, is that you've got to watch out if that you don't leave with dead air. June and Brady, I'm going to play with StreamYard today to see if you can figure it out. Hey, Z had the best information on StreamYard. He said, go in there and do some recordings, try it out, test it out. And so that's what I did as well. And I know there's commands. I got to figure out this Nightbot thing. I'd like to get it in there so people can link their own channel. I've got Nightbot running, but I don't know what's going on. I got Nightbot running, commands, recent events. You know what? I didn't really even get it up and running properly. As I can tell you, I've got this other monitor going on here, and I don't know what I'm doing with it at all. Crazy. But hey, that's what's great about being a creator and you're doing something for the first time. Bill said earlier, it's just fun to hit there and press button and see what happens. You never know what's going to happen. You know, I could do some really queerly looking stuff, oddly looking layouts. So you never know what's going to happen next. When you hit a button, I could go a block. Also, hey, I put this thing up here. I made some banners. So when I started, I had 966 subscribers. Helped me reach 1,000. Everybody wants 1,000. And I'm at 968 subscribers. So, hey, thanks to everybody who subscribed. I was also made this other one here. It's funny. You know, help me feed my addiction. Buy me a coffee. And there's a link down below to buy me a coffee. All those fun things. I'm sure there's a lot of people with found a lot of ways to try to entice people to help support them as a creator. Today, I had this image that I would be using my GoPro or my camera as my main camera, and I'm just using my laptop camera, and it seems to be doing quite a good job. When you're using StreamYard, if you're using the free version, you're not going to be able to go at 1080p, only 720, I think it is. I hope it looks fine. I know everybody probably is sick of looking at this face. I'm not pretty. Sorry for not being prettier for y'all out there. I'm just who I am. Yeah, so group cruises, they're fun. I hope to do one. I've got a lot of great ideas. And when I've decided if I'm doing one or not, I am going to be reaching out to some creators for some ideas on what they've done. I'm not going to be reaching out to people to say, hey, will you do it with me? But I am going to be looking for tips and tricks on how to have a successful group cruise. And that sounds like a good video idea. Has anybody done a video on how to host a successful group cruise? That sounds like a great video idea. Maybe there's some people out there who have hosted cruises that can do that video, people who've had good group cruises. I don't know if Don would do something like that. Don does host group cruises. I don't think that's his type of video to make. I know Tony from Lolita Loca. They've hosted a lot of group cruises as well. It sounds like they're getting out of it. They're not too sure if they're going to be going back into doing group cruises. It looks like they're trying to decide the direction they want to take in their businesses. I know they're not going to stop cruising. I can tell you that much. And they're not going to stop doing YouTube. I can tell you that much as well. But maybe there's other creators out there as well who do group cruises. I think Sharon at Sea does group cruises as well. Perhaps she should do one. It'd be interesting to see what people have to say on how to create or how to host a good group cruise. You can come up with all the plans you want. You can come up with all the schedules you want. But how do you make sure that everything goes off flawlessly? You know, you just can't let things happen on their own. There has to be someone there to control it. It's just like piloting a cruise ship. You can have all the destinations you want to go to planned out, but you just don't know what's going to happen when you get there, or how are you going to get there as well. So anyway, I've been on the air for 1 hour and 22 minutes. I'm going to be here for just another 8 more minutes, just for 1.5 hours. I didn't plan on being here this long. I just wanted to be out here for 1 hour to say hi, test this out, show myself out there, expose myself to the YouTube universe, to see who I am, what I'm like. Hey, do you guys like this picture in the background? Typically, when I've been creating videos, I've got this backdrop I've used a few times. I've also just done it on the spur of the moment wherever I am. Right now, I found a place in my house where a little corner of my house, let me just move this a little bit, because I've got a shelving unit here and there's a piece of fabric hanging over it. I just realized it's been in the screen the whole time. But I think this might be my content creation space coming up. I've got a green screen I've played with in the back a few times. I say it's really hard to edit videos when you've got a green screen. I would drop the picture down so you can see it better as viewers. Well, I was thinking about dropping the picture down, but to be honest, the setup I've got is not going to be my permanent setup. The seat I'm in is at its lowest point so that I can use the table I'm using at its highest point. So in the future, I am going to be getting a proper stand, and I envision having everything up more at this height, something like that, a little farther away. This is a new space for me for creating videos, and I just need to modify it a little bit better. I don't know if that picture is going to stay there in the background the entire time or not. It might be something else. It's kind of a nice picture. I like it. It's a nice painting. Anyway, let me just move everything back. Oh, you can see all my wires and everything hanging there. I just set this up yesterday just because I realized I identified this as the spot. And for content creators out there, it's interesting how finding a spot to do this can be difficult. Yes, we've got 3 bedrooms. One is an office bedroom, and the room I'm in is actually a room for when my kids come over and stay. There's a bunk bed right off the screen here. I've got a computer right here that they sit there and they'll play games and surf on. And up here too, where you can't see it, there's a 55-inch television with a PlayStation where we sit there and we'll play games games together and keep them out of the living room where the TV is. But I found that there was a little corner in the room where there really wasn't much there, and I was able to set up the camera and everything in front of it. Any tips for content creating? Let me know below over there. I'm just having fun with the camera, seeing which way it's pointing and everything, because it's not showing me straight on. It's sort of an backwards thing. So that's how I'm sitting. So this is over on my right, but apparently I don't look as good. That looks better, I think. I don't know what everybody else is here. I was going to play around with virtual backgrounds here today. I was going to have this background for a while. I thought it was a really nice photo, but I thought, you know what? I'm just going to keep it real and just leave it like this and show you who I am. I have seen some creators in live streams put up backgrounds, and they've done very good jobs, and I didn't even realize I had a virtual background up. Look at that. Oh, that is so hard to stop saying in videos and when you're editing videos. I was saying that I have a green screen, and editing videos with this green screen on iMovie is really difficult because you don't use the video as your main video part. You add the video in as a photo, and you add it in as a green screen. And then when you're editing everything, it cuts off the video you're trying to show with an image. Oh, it's a headache. It's going to take a while. I'm thinking of upgrading my software to something that's a little more powerful, as I'm finding iMovie doesn't do everything that I want it to do anymore. Excuse me. A little sniffly here this morning. Like I was saying, I'm out of coffee. I'm going to go get some more in a few minutes. That was one nice thing about doing those Western Caribbean cruises to Honduras and Belize. It's down there. I like to pick up some Belizean coffee. Pick up some coffee from Honduras as well. It's always a nice little treat when I get home to have coffee that came out of there. Get the beans, grind them myself. I don't like buying ground coffee in those ports. I just find the beans last longer when I break them home. And here's a tip for you as well. Always ask your room attendant if you can get a coffee pot for your room if you like coffee. Norwegian, there's a lot of cruise, a lot of cabins that you can get a coffee pot sent to your room. It's not a Keurig, it's not an espresso. I forget the name of it. In one of my videos, I do talk about it. But the coffee comes in these round little packets. And you put the packets in the machine, and it brews it for you. And you can make a good cup of coffee. We like it a little stronger, a little darker. So we would take the coffee pods that the cruise line supplied us, and we'd just double them up and get a really good cup of coffee. But that's a tip for you. Once you're on board, ask your room steward if you could get a coffee machine put in there. If they have them, they'll bring them to you. And I'm wearing this cool shirt I got. This is my logo, Ship to Shore Cruise News. I was lucky enough that this was a gift to me from someone who I partnered with to create a lot of clothing that I'm going to be launching soon. My kids actually said, "Dad, It's about time you start selling some merch. Um, let's see. So I've come up with some designs for some shirts, and I'm going to be launching those soon. I've also got an idea for a coffee cup and a travel bag and a beach towel as well. Journeys with June and Brady. If you are making a short, you keep your phone upright. Yes, that is correct. When you're making a short, film it in this way here, up and down. Portrait view, upright. It will go over onto YouTube. It will transfer over to YouTube a lot easier, and you'll get the full image. If you're in the landscape form and you're making your video, it's going to cut off some of the stuff on the sides. So yeah, shorts like this, long form like this. Also, when you're taking photos, and this is something I learned through watching a whole bunch of creators, when you take photos with your phone that you're going to use with your content, do it in landscape as well. You get so much more in that photo doing it this way than you do in the portrait mode like that. Try it out, test it out, have fun with it. Take a picture this way, take a picture that way. Take a look at the difference, especially when you're trying to add it into your video. You're going to notice that you've got a lot more. The wider image just seems fuller and more dynamic. And those are the words I'm using. You may describe it differently. But hey, everybody, I've been on for an hour and a half. It's time for me to go grab another cup of coffee. And like I said earlier, a blatant request for support. Support my addiction. Buy me a cup of coffee down below. Ha ha ha. If you don't, that's okay. I don't care. I got my own coffee. I can go grab it myself. But anyway, the video is coming from the end. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. I feel this has been very successful for me. I feel a lot more comfortable doing this, and I'm going to be doing this again. I'm definitely going to be talking to Bill again, Warm Strong, Journeys with June and Brady. I'm going to check out your channel, watch your videos. Tim, thank you very much for showing up. I really appreciate it. You seem like such a nice person. You've made some really good comments, and you contributed greatly to today's show. The Beehole Patrol. There's some meaning behind that name. It might not be anything I'm thinking of. But hey, I'm going to check out what you've got as well. Z, as always, I watch your stuff as well. Cool Beans. Yeah, Cool Beans. I haven't heard that saying in a long time. Right on. Anyway, you guys, my name is Stuart. This has been Ship to Shore Cruise News Live. And as always, get your cruise on. So uncomfortable silence as I'm trying to figure out how to end the stream here. Get your cruise on.